the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics lose big games all the time, B. They be alright. They tough, right? Brad Stevens voice. Uncle Drew looks terrible.
After 10 days of basketball in the hot desert sun, the Las Vegas Summer League is down to its final two teams. The Suns and the Spurs play for all the Summer League marbles.
Ready, man. Trying to get another chip. Bring it back to San Antonio.
Hey, what a great opportunity, all right? All these people came to see you guys. Who's ever won a summer championship? Not me. Let's go. Come on, come on.
This is the way teams are warming up. They're ready to go.
Together, 1, 2, 3.
And the Spurs get the first bucket of the night. Devin Booker shows off the range here early on from deep, and it's good.
Good job, good job.
Hey, right here, right in. Give it to him. Cut, cut, cut.
Nice. Simmons had a connection with Kyle Anderson. That's what he does.
Mike James, let's go. Josh, protect. Talk back there, Mickey.
Mike James with a dunk. Thank you.
Don't get too cute out here. Stay serious, stay focused. Let's go, play the right way. Keep the D, come on.
We talk about Coach Hammond. It's about the game, and she knows the game.
Way to close, way to close. Now we got some energy. Let's go, keep it up.
This is our game again, all right? I'm telling you, 2 minutes long time, but you got to get up, you got to get that thing. Press up.
Suns and Spurs have been trading the lead here. Got to Scott. Beautiful look by Kyle Anderson.
Woo! Get back. Let's go. Next play.
Simmons, who's had a couple of exclamation points in his run here in Vegas. The San Antonio Spurs, your Las Vegas Summer League champs.
Mission accomplished, baby.
Good job. Just thank you for working hard, listening, being attentive.
Becky Hammond, who already made a little history as the first woman to coach a Summer League team, can now say her team made some history as well. A championship for a championship franchise.
Hey, God, what we got?
Defense on 3, 1, 2, 3. Defense!
Okay. Let's talk about some Toronto Raptors, all right? We're making a lot of videos on these Raptors. I want to be home a little bit longer than expected, so I'm not going to make really long videos right now, but I'm going to make a series of videos instead about my favorite NBA team. Now, the Toronto Raptors are in a situation right now where they're probably in a couple of different positions. They're in the first position is you keep all hands on deck. This means that you don't tear out the starting core. You keep it together and just bring in a new head coach. Most of us Raptor fans really don't want that. But you also have the other option, which is basically tearing it up a little bit, but not tearing it up too much, because like I said, most of the team is young. But the other option that you will have is to trade a couple of the big veteran pieces in order to either get a star back or get some draft picks back. Now, there's some options out here as far as younger players, since we do not have the number one thing to remember about this offseason, we do not have a draft pick as of right now. That doesn't mean that Masai Ujiri won't trade for one on draft night to get maybe a second rounder or something. But as of right now, we have no draft picks due to us trading those picks to the Nets and the Suns. So, respectively. So, this is a team right now that is going into the next season with basically the same team with not much change, except for maybe adding a couple of G League guys to the main roster, like a Lorenzo Brown, Alfonso McKinney, Malachi Richardson, Malcolm Miller, or Kennedy Meeks. Kennedy Meeks down up in the G League. And I don't even think they're going to do that. So that's basically all you have, basically, as of right now. Now, the team itself is solid. You know, it's a solid team, and you really don't have to really move anybody, but in order to get to the next level, you will have to do something. Now, pretty much everyone who's a starter, including Jonas Valanciunas, has been in trade rumors. So, like Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Serge Ibaka, all these guys have been in trade rumors. Norman Powell as well, because he lost his starting job, really kind of declined this year as a player, which is never a good sign, especially for younger guys to be struggling like that and getting out of rotation. But the good news for him is that Dwayne Casey is no longer the coach, so the coach might have a different vision for the way he sees Norman Powell fitting onto this team. But I do think Norman Powell is interesting because I think you could give him up. If anybody in the league still sees him as a valuable guy, you might be able to get something out of Norman Powell. Now, I still like Norman Powell. He's still a young guy. He's only 25 years old. Still has some potential to rise back into being a dependable player like he was for us in the playoffs back in 2017. Especially, he was a key cog to us beating the Bucks that year. You know, he still has that. But I think the main thing that the Raptors need to do before anything is to re-sign one guy. That's Freddie VanVleet. Now, this is a different type of summer for us. We've been kind of handcuffed at the wheel because the last couple of years we've had to make some big re-signings for our key guys. DeMar DeRozan was first. We had to re-sign him. Then last year it was Serge Ibaka and Kyle Lowry. So this year we have to re-sign Freddie VanVleet, who's a lot cheaper than those guys. So you might be able to do more. But Freddie VanVleet, you are going to have to pay this guy. And a lot of the guys in the league now, they get paid very good contracts, even for coming off the bench. Now, Fred VanVleet, I see him as Kyle Lowry's main replacement. I see him more of as the replacement more than DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright had a pretty good playoffs to me, especially in that first round against the Wizards. Stepped up big time in some situations. Fred VanVleet was hurt during the playoffs, so we didn't really get a chance to really see him do his thing like he did during the regular season, but I think you still have to re-sign him. That way you know that if Kyle Lowry, if we ever trade him, you know, that's a cog. Now, let's start with Kyle Lowry, because I think that this is an interesting guy because he's only got, 2 years left on his deal, I believe, so you could either have him finish that contract out or trade him. Now, one of the rumors that I heard was talking to the Sixers to bring him back home to Philadelphia and trading him straight up for Markelle Fultz. I don't see how Markelle Fultz really fits in with the Sixers since Ben Simmons plays the point. I don't even know how you're going to work him in if you see him as a starter. Now, obviously, as a bench player, he'd be nice. He'd be like their Terry Rozier or whatever, or Freddie VanVleet. He'll be that guy, backup point guard. But you drafted him number one. You did not draft him to be a backup. So I think for Philly, I think they have to trade this guy. I think they have to trade Markelle Fultz to get some stuff back, maybe a draft pick. And there will be a lot of teams that will want to grab this kid quickly. The only down thing about him is two things: his injuries, and we still don't really know about him as an NBA player. Is he really that damn good, or is he a draft bust? I will take a chance if they wanted to make that move and Philly agreed to it. Now, Jerry Colangelo has a history here. He used to be our general manager. If Masai Ujiri wants to make that trade, we give him Kyle Lowry and maybe another player. We don't really have any draft picks for him, but, you know, it has to be a future draft pick. But I'd be willing to do it, Kyle Lowry, for Markelle Fultz. It's a young guy. I think he's capable. of doing it. So we will see if they want to make that move. Another interesting move for another younger guy in the league is Brandon Ingram. I've been hearing about this one as well. Now, I don't know if the Lakers have a desire to trade him, but I think they will look at options. So far with Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka, they haven't been strangers as far as trading top draft picks. They traded D'Angelo Russell to Brooklyn last year. Could Brandon Ingram be the next domino to fall, especially since the Lakers are a team right now that's getting ready for this summer and looking to get a big free agent or two, maybe Paul George, maybe LeBron James, bringing those guys in. So this is a team that's probably going to need some cap space, right? You can add in a Luol Deng with that. We'll clean that salary for him, take Luol Deng. We trade DeMar DeRozan back home to L.A. with the Lakers. I think that move works because I think the Lakers will be willing to take DeMar if we were willing to give him up for Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, if you talk to me about the trade last year, I would not want to touch it because I did not like Brandon Ingram in his rookie season. But he really stepped up big time in his sophomore season outside of getting hurt the last month of the season. This guy really improved year to year. I think he's really developed his game, had a lot of 30-point games this year. He stepped up. He stepped up and showed some heart. I think people were questioning, does this guy got any heart? He's too damn thin. I mean, obviously he could bulk up, but he's a really good offensive player. He's got mad potential. If we made that move, I wouldn't discredit it. But I'm really not interested at all in trading DeMar DeRozan, mainly because I think word gets around about trading guys who are loyal and re-sign with you. Like DeMar DeRozan is probably the most loyal guy in the league because not a lot of dudes in their prime stay in Toronto and sign a long-term deal, a max deal. They just don't. And so for this guy who came from Compton to come up here and embrace the cold north of Canada, the New York City of Canada, Toronto, to come up here and embrace the city, move his family here, his wife and his kids. I mean, you got to respect a guy like that. But would they want to move a guy like that? And I'm so against it because, like I said, I might do it for Brandon Ingram, but I would rather do it for Kawhi Leonard. But there is that loophole out there. Is he a Spurs type player? I don't, that whole logic out there, it's a little bit sideways because I think they made it work with LaMarcus Aldridge, who was not a Spurs type player at all. But they made it work. So, to me, I do think that in a lot of different ways, this is a situation where if you find the right trade partner, you find the right trade piece, you have to explore the options. Now, it was out there that Masai Ujiri explored all options of trading DeMar. I think he's going to explore him again. I think he's going to explore the Kyle Lowry ones. But the main guy that he probably really needs to trade is Serge Ibaka. He's got to get, if he's going to get any huge free agency, and the whole point of this video, I'm about to talk about one guy that they need to go get. Because I think this is the guy that they can actually get. Serge Ibaka. They got to find a way to get him out of here and free that cap room. I thought Masai made a little mistake keeping him, but then nobody really know the season was going to go like it did in the playoffs. Like a lot of people thought this team could get to the NBA Finals with this group here. So he was like, Serge Ibaka, get a year playing next to, Kyle and DeMar, but it really hasn't worked. I don't know if Serge is a guy that really fits into the future here. So that brings up my next point and where I want to drive this video home to, because I heard the Raptors Digest people talk about this. Great channel, by the way. Sell us to Raptors Digest. I think that's a great channel. They was talking about, they made a video yesterday, and I watched it, called DeMarcus Cousins. I watched it right before the Cleveland Celtics game. The Raptors should go after DeMarcus Cousins. I really believe they should make this move. First of all, DeMarcus Cousins pretty much he doesn't want to be in New Orleans no more. They're not going to pay him the money, so he's going to be gone. He likes the town. I think he's fitted really well there. I think he's actually changed his career. He's matured a lot from his Sacramento days. I think some of that's got to do with him getting older and maybe playing next to Anthony Davis, who's a more calm, cool, collected guy. And I think he's been a good influence and maybe example for him. But I think DeMarcus Cousins is a realistic get. This is a guy, I'm telling you, this guy, I think he's always wanted to be a Raptor. I think he wants to be in Toronto, man. This dude put on the Raptor Barney shorts, bro. The purple shorts, the legendary purple shorts with the pinstripes. He put on the Maple Leaf jersey, man. I'm like, I think it was a Kadri jersey, bro. I'm like, this dude really want to be up here, bro. We got to find a way to go get him then. We really got to find a way to go get DeMarcus Cousins, bro. And he's always been one of my favorite players to watch in the league, especially when he was with Sacramento, watching him late nights, watching him on a random-ass Monday or Tuesday night, bro. Late night game, Sacramento Kings, they're going to lose the game, but it's just a joy to watch him compete. Like, I couldn't imagine if we got him. Now, if they don't re-sign him, New Orleans, we have to pick him up from free agency. Now, if we got to pay him top dollar, he's not going to take a discount to come here. So the question is, do we make some more trades as well? Now, I do think we could keep Valanciunas in getting Boogie Cousins. Now, I think what the rotation could be if you got Boogie, because one of the reasons why I think Boogie's a great replacement for Serge Ibaka because he does everything that guy can do, but better. Defense, offense. He can play in the post. He can stretch you out. He hit threes. He's not an automatic three-point scorer, but he will take them and he'll make some. I think this gives JV a chance to come off the bench. Jakob Poeltl right behind him. Now, the question is Lucas Nogueira, who's giving us some solid minutes last season, but Lucas Nogueira is a mainly defensive player, not really an offensive player. You know what I mean? Hasn't really developed well in that area, but so you have a decision to make there. Whether you let him go or whatever, and you still got Kennedy Meeks coming up through the G League. So, Kennedy Meeks. So you got a lot of things you could do. Siakam could go into the starting lineup, play at the power forward position, which is where Ibaka was at the 4, and you can have at the 5, you can have Boogie, who's the best center in the NBA right now. So the only bad thing about Boogie is that he's coming off an injury. So if this guy is 90% healthy, man, he could definitely probably take our teams to the next level because he has some toughness at a wall and stuff like that. And like I said, I think his maturity problems isn't really an issue like it used to be. So I think that's a real good fit because I can see him actually, like if Masai Ujiri backed up the Ivory Sharks, if DeMarcus Cousins really wants to play up here, I think he will sign here, bro. He's good friends with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, who he played with on Team USA. I think that'll be a good get. I think that's a realistic get for the Raptors because I really do feel like the Raptors need to pick up somebody big from free agency. I also like the prospects of Paul George, picking him up. I talked about Melo in a different video coming off the bench if he accepts that role. There's a lot of things that they can do. I'm still concentrating on Kawhi Leonard, but I don't know how realistic that is. We still got to just find out if the Spurs are just going to even keep him because I think the Spurs are probably about a year away from rebuilding. I think Pop is about to lose his whole coaching staff. He might not even return himself. I think he's going to return next season. He still hasn't made an official decision yet, but I think he's going to return next season. I don't think he'll return a year after that, which is why they're probably in a position where they're kind of setting themselves up to hang on to Becky Hammond. And let's talk about the coaching thing real quick. Then I'm going to end this video. And like I said, I'm going to make more videos, so you're going to hear more things from me about this Raptor team. But the main idea was just to talk about Boogie Cousins and quick update on the coaching staff. Now, the latest update is that sometime, I think last week, we interviewed Ettore Messina, who's been a long-running type coach. Now, half the fan base wants him, half the fan base really doesn't want someone that old. I personally do not want anybody this old. My thing about Messina is if you decide to keep this team as is together or keep them in a win-now mode, even if you still bought in Boogie, maybe you do bring in a guy like Messina just for that reason. But if you're doing like a half rebuild where you're starting to trade people off, you're building the team really mainly around OG Anunoby, Siakam, guys like that, Pirtle, Fred VanVleet, DeLon Wright, guys like that on the team, then you might want Malachi Richardson and Malcolm Miller. You might want to fucking, look at it. I need Udoka. This dude, Udoka, I remember when he was playing in the league. Some people that don't remember him playing. And to me, he's been a very he's been an adequate point guard, but where his strength is the coaching. I think he's a very good young coaching prospect. I think it'll be a steal if we get him, because he's interviewed twice. He's interviewed for Charlotte and Orlando. This will be the third team he's interviewed for. He's African, so he has the connection with Masai Ujiri there. I just like Udoka. I didn't even know. I know he was interviewing, but I didn't know he was a realistic possibility here. He wasn't even one of the guys I was focusing on because I did not know he was going to interview for a job. Now that he's in the conversation, I really want Udoka because he's only 40 years old, man. Young as hell. I want him now. I want him more than Messina now. The age difference matters. We just had an old coach in Dwayne Casey, man. I don't know if I want that. I know Messina's pretty good, but I don't know if I want that, man. If I get a coach that's similar to Messina, I'd rather have David Black. But I'm not saying I don't want Messina, period. It's just people I'd rather have over him. Now, the other prospects that we still have, Nick Nurse. I like that prospect. Nick Nurse. And then we also have Res Kalamian, who I don't really like Res Kalamian as a candidate, but and then we also had Jerry Stackhouse. Now, the one that I want the most is Becky Hammond. Yes, I'm on the Becky Hammond bandwagon, but doesn't look realistically like we're going to get her. So my concentration maybe in the past week or two hasn't really been on Becky Hammond unless I hear that they interview her. I'm not sure if Masai Ujiri is done interviewing right now, but I do know that these five are worthy. But I would rank them like this. I still rank Stackhouse at the top. He's got familiarity with the organization. I like how he's ran the G League team, the Raptors 905, took them to the finals twice. Young prospect. Udoka will be second. Nick Nurse might be 3 over Messina in my opinion, because Nick Nurse did turn his office around. I wouldn't mind that. That's familiarity, and all these guys are different voices in the room. And then Wes Kalamian, number 5. But you can't go wrong with all 5. I do wish that Masai at least gives Becky Hammond an interview this week. Like I said, I don't know if Masai is done, but I would imagine that he would choose a coach sometime before the draft. Even though we're not drafting this year, but you never know. He could still. He was actually at I watched a little bit of it. He was actually at the scouting combine last week in Chicago. I actually saw the interview that he did with the crew on ESPN. So he says he's just doing it. He's just doing the interview process. He says no rush. So that's what I like about it as well. So we'll see what happens. I don't think that he needs to make a decision this week or even next week. I just think that he probably needs to make one probably the week before the draft, which would be the week of the 11th of June. It's 2 weeks from now, so maybe he needs to make one at least by then. Because definitely sometime before free agency, which is July 1st. So that way he knows exactly what type of coach to hire and all of that. So I definitely think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Long process, boys, long process. But that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to make some more videos about the Raptors, free agency and off-season and stuff like that. This is the first one because I thought that DeMarcus Cousins might be a realistic get for us if we actually went after him, if the coaching staff sees him as a fit, and also Masai Ujiri. It's just going to be very, very interesting to see where they go with all of this. All right, guys. Peace. I'll see you guys later. The Boston Celtics! The Boston Celtics lose big games all the time, B. They be alright. They tough, right? Brad Stevens voice! Uncle Drew looks terrible.